Doctor, my name's Chris Stoy, and I represent. We've never met before today, right?
Right.
And we're at today for your deposition.
Yes.
And the date for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
August 30th, 2019.
All right. Now, you're being paid by the defense to give testimony here today, right?
Yes.
And surely you don't give testimony favorable for the defense just because they're paying you, right?
Right.
All right. You say that here's your summary of records, and you note here that she has presenting symptoms of neck pain and low back pain. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Now, wouldn't that be subjective complaints from the plaintiff?
Yes.
So none of the daily soap notes show subjective and objective findings. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
All right. Let's take a look at that then. This is the daily soap note for 2/22/17, right?
Yes.
And we have subjective and objective findings, correct?
No.
All right. Here we've got treatment on 2/27/17, correct?
I think that's 22717.
Yes. The patient reports improvement. Is that not a subjective finding?
No, because it is not showing what is improved. It's not showing if there's neck pain, back pain, hemorrhoids, or anything.
Hemorrhoids.
I'm just saying that there's no specific indication. I'm just making a point that there's no specific subjective complaint. There's a general statement of improvement, but there's no documentation whatsoever on what is showing improvement.
All right, but to be clear, you wouldn't expect to be reporting hemorrhoids, correct?
That is correct.
So you are saying that the doctor should have ordered x-rays right away, correct?
Yes.
The first day of treatment was what? You have that in those documents in front of you?
Yeah. Yes. I think they were on 2/13/17. That was the first date that she came in to the chiropractor, and I will have to double check,
right.
But I think that's the first date of treatment too.
Well, if you'll look here, doctor, on 2/13/17, this note from the chiropractor, x-rays were in fact ordered the first day of treatment, correct?
Yes.
Doctor, you've actually never even seen this document, have you? I'll zoom out so you can look at it. Tell you what, go through that stack of documents that are in front of you. That's the file that the defense lawyers gave you, correct?
Yes.
All right. It's a complete whole file, right?
Yes.
Go through there for me, please, and find the document that I have shown to the jury as Exhibit 1.
Can you tell me what you're showing him over there?
It's plaintiff Bates number 0440. It's on that screen right there.
I can't find it. I don't recall seeing that form before, and I looked through at least a part of the records where most likely it would have been in, and it's not It's not in those records.
You didn't have this form when you authored your report, correct?
I don't think that I did.
You didn't have this form when you stated that the initiation of chiropractic care without providing x-rays was not consistent with the claimant sustaining significant injuries, correct?
Correct.
Surely you would change your opinion at this point, correct?
No.
You'll stick to it.
Yes.
There can be no doubt that individuals involved in minimum structural damage collisions not uncommonly develop symptomology consistent with whiplash-type neck distortion, soft tissue injuries.
So you're saying minimal impact. I don't know what you're looking at there, but I think that if there's minimal impact.
This is a blog that you wrote, Plaintiff's Exhibit number 53, correct? That's you, correct? I mean, we see that. And this is from your website, right?
Well, I think that I didn't.
I'm
actually,
sorry.
Sorry.
This is a blog from your website, right?
It's a blog, not from my website, but it is a blog.
Where is it from?
It's from chirotrust.org.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm a member of chirotrust.org.
Why is your picture on this blog?
Because that is my blog. It's not my website, but it is my blog.
So this is a blog of yours then?
Yes.
Exhibit 53 is a blog that you have.
Yes.
So on your blog, you wrote about the effects of low-impact motor vehicle collisions on spine and joint pain and degeneration, correct?
Yes.
And in that blog, you state that there can be no doubt that individuals involved in a minimum structural damage collisions not uncommonly develop symptomology consistent with whiplash-type neck distortion, soft tissue injuries, correct?
I didn't write that, but that is on my blog.
You've adopted it, correct? You're publishing it to the public, correct?
Well, I didn't think that that was published, but apparently this was published.
You wouldn't misrepresent something to the public, would you?
No.
All right. You also wrote that it is almost a foregone conclusion and certainly professional experience that defense attorneys and medical experts for the defense continue to proclaim that an individual within a vehicle involved in a collision cannot be injured if their vehicle sustains only minimum structural damage. That's something on your blog, correct?
Yes.
And you, today, are a defense expert, giving that same opinion, correct?
Well,
Doctor, this is your blog, correct?
Yes.
Do you just put blogs up without reading them?
Well, I'm a member of chirotrust.org. They write all of this, but I did not authorize this one to be made public. But there is still a difference if you look back at what I said earlier, I gave that example of if there's no damage to the vehicle, then I said that she probably wasn't injured at all, but we already know that there was significant structural damage to her vehicle, so this doesn't really have to do with anything about this accident.
So now you're saying that Mrs. Gillespie had significant structural damage to her vehicle, correct?
Yeah, I said before light to medium damage, and so if you want to look at light to medium damage, then
And
has
that-
significant structural damage, then that would be correct.
So now you're calling it significant structural damage.
I guess I said that.
You would agree with this statement in your blog that because of the sizable mass that makes up a motor vehicle, even small speed collisions generate significant kinetic energy, correct?
Well, this is the first time I'm reading that. I didn't write that, but I think that there's lots of factors that go into car accidents and if injuries are sustained in a car accident.
Would you agree that pre-existing pathological conditions of the cervical spine when injured result in more damage than would be anticipated in a so-called normal cervical spine?
I think that there's probably a blog or information that you're looking at like that. There are also, though, some problem, and I don't know what you're referring to, but probably
Right,
there's
you're right.
more.
Exhibit. Now, cervical spine degeneration, that you said earlier, I think that that's something that everyone has, correct?
After a certain age, the majority of the population has degenerative changes.
Right. Majority or all? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, not all, but the majority.
And you said here in your blog that degeneration shown by an X-ray in the cervical spine appeared 10 years earlier in a whiplash group. Talk about that study.
This is the first time I'm seeing this and reading this, so there's really nothing more than what I can say than what you're already reading.
All right. Well, here's what I asked earlier, and it will have to go to the next page to finish the statement, but pre-existing pathological conditions of the cervical spine when injured result in more damage than would be anticipated in a so-called normal cervical spine. Now, do you disagree with that statement on your blog?
Yes, to the extent that there's, and I know we can talk more about this later, but there is much newer information about this subject.
You weren't the treating provider, correct?
Correct.
So what you're saying there is the treatment that's given should be left up to the treating chiropractor, correct?
Well, I think that's a general statement that doesn't say anything about the fact that there's evidence-based medicine and there's guidelines and there's peer reviews, and so this does not mention any of that. But in general, if a chiropractor is practicing proper evidence-based medicine / chiropractic and following the proper guidelines, then that would